This man in 2025 is trying to find his perfect what's in the bag. We've tested the latest drivers, we've tested fairway woods and hybrids, even new irons, but this club right here is next up. So Dave, the final piece of the puzzle we are looking for is potentially, do we need to replace the putter you've had for a long time? Although it's under a PXG head cover, it is the Odyssey 10 triple track.
Yeah.
Had it for a while now, 3 or 4 years?
It's only under a PXG head cover because I've had it that long and used it that much that the head cover had worn out, and that were a freebie.
It certainly has, and we've tested you with these clubs here.
Yeah.
So a couple of L.A.B putters there, a Mez 1 and the brand new Oz 1. But then we've also had you in this interesting club here, a DeChambeau-esque armlock putter, and some certainly interesting results. But we're out here on the green now before we go and talk about data. Which one are we going to start with, Dave? Are we going to start with yours, or are we going to go in with one of the L.A.Bs?
We'll go in with this L.A.B.
Okay.
Because it's yours, so I don't care if I damage it.
No, well, I'd like to think you can't damage it here on a putting green, but you never know, Dave. So, Mez 1 here, obviously we know exactly what we have got here. This is fitted for me, it's not exactly in your perfect specs, Dave, but L.A.B obviously creating a lot of torque.
Oh, lack of torque.
Oh, lack of torque, I was waiting for it, Dave. So again, zero torque putters, we thought David nodded off there, but all the rage at the moment. Obviously, I do think these are incredibly impressive putters. The technology-wise, I think will help a lot of golfers. 90% of golfers could be helped by this. I think obviously a large percentage of people would get more consistent putting using a zero torque-esque putter. But straight up with that Mez. So plenty of options when it comes to Mez, and a good roll there, Dave. Obviously alignment aids on the top.
I love that alignment aid. I think it's really good.
See, we've got a little bit of a T there, so something for the leading edge as well as something towards your intended target. We can see there, start line was good for Dave, and this is something that these putters are known for. Again, on your holing out puts, your shorter puts, starting them on line a little bit better will certainly lower Dave's scores. That's something we've missed a little bit with that triple track. So let's see, can Dave get the pace here? That's a pretty good putt. Oh, referee, just short, but Dave, a pretty good stroke.
It feels really nice. I love the alignment aid. The putter looks a little bit strange, but then again, the L.A.Bs tend to, don't they?
Yeah, so this is one big thing with L.A.B. Obviously, a big talking point is, if we look at the DF3 as well, not a traditional looking putter.
No, but I also like the way that it almost stands up on its own. So if you've got a tendency to either lift the toe or lift the heel, it doesn't look right. So there's a tendency to try and keep it as flat as it possibly is.
Yeah, helps you get that line go. Well, interestingly enough, obviously we now have this putter right here. So under this is a brand new L.A.B Oz 1 putter. So Dave's going to get that out. We're going to hit a couple more putts from a different point, Dave. We'll move around, we'll bring those two, maybe go to the front of the green, and we'll start to see that this now is a more traditional looking putter. So obviously head shape there, Dave, certainly a little bit more traditional of putters
a little bit, but it's more traditional than that one, but it's not really a shape that you would have seen in many shops, is it?
No, it certainly isn't. And again, alignment aids on there are ones that I have chosen, but there are multiple options. And this is where, for me, L.A.B are ticking a lot of boxes, because you can get all different alignment aids that suit your eye. And this is where, obviously, certain things like that can, again, help you start that ball on line.
You see, again, it does feel as though it's making you...
Puts you into a posture.
Yeah, yeah.
Is the words you were looking for there, Dave, I think?
Something like that.
Not been on the beers yet.
Not yet.
The sun is finally out here in the UK. Again, it has just been maintenance week, but greens are fantastic here at Waterfront.
You see, and the alignment aid does bring your eye towards the centre.
Yeah, again, lot of technology here. A lot of technology at a very premium price. So we know these are coming in well over $500. So
Yeah,
again, price-wise, but it's a club that we use a lot, Dave.
I'm going to say, I get that people say it's a lot of money for a putter, but how much are we paying for drivers currently? And compare the amount of times that you use a driver on the course to how many times you hit putts.
Exactly, that's the big thing there. This is the club that you should be using the most. If you're using another club more than this, it's certainly time for lessons, or head over to our Get Good at Golf YouTube channel. You can see so far, guys, how consistent that pace has been. Obviously I did move that one. One was a couple of feet short, first putt on the green, but then the next two are being consistent. This is where, obviously, making sure you got the right putter, you will lower your scores if you improve your pace or get a putter that is more consistent of getting it closer to the hole in general. Again, there, a great putt from Dave. But a tap in, Dave.
I'm going to say, there's no dramas about any of those putts. You generally, for those, especially those three, you're definitely it's going to be two putts, isn't it?
Yeah, so we have...
I know that you should be two putting from that distance, but, there's hardly a foot in it.
No, and we are going to get numbers on these putters, guys. We're going to jump now into Dave's original putter. So we are going to go to that triple tack number 10. We also have a reverse tapered golf pride grip on there. So that was something, again, for Dave to get a little bit more stability on there. So let's give yourself another similar length putt, Dave. And one thing we've seen with this putter in recent times is a little bit of movement in that head, the dreaded figure of 8. And this is why we are looking to complete that what's in the bag. There has been some new additions. We do have a Zexio 3 hybrid in there. We have a new driver and another wood at the top end of the bag. So certainly all change this year for Dave to get to that single figures. So a pretty good putt straight in there, Dave. Do we need a new putter, or is it just Dave wanting a new putter? That is the big question. And if we talk price-wise, Dave, this was around about £240, this putter?
It was, and that's 4 years ago.
Yeah, and it has worked over the years. We wouldn't say this is the weakest part of your game. If you watch the channel, guys, we all know Dave's weakest part of the game.
No, the weakest part to the game has been the one club at the top end of the bag. However, this did go off the boil, which is why I changed my grip to a sort of pistol grip.
Yep.
And that's helped.
Claw. Right, let's see then, Dave. Can you make it 2 for 2? Tour average from there, out of interest, guys, will be 1 in 4.
Oh, come on, come on, come on.
2 great putts there, Dave. So the big question is, should we change? Let's have a look at some numbers now. So we hit the same 4 putts with each putter, and the Mez one on average was 0.7 open, but the path was sneaking 4.3 to the left. When we got the Oz in Dave's hands, or the Oz 1i, face control was better, path was better, but no better than his Odyssey. So again, you can see there, path and face, although not fantastic, did match up a little bit better, but it was this one right here, the Golf Punk armlock, that certainly was the most consistent. Now the one that worked the best inside, guys, so you will have seen the numbers there, this was the most consistent for face and path as a bit of a combination, and we saw that it was pretty consistent, but how will it perform out here on the course? Again, Golf Punk here, guys, brought back, if anybody remembers the old magazine, it is now online, but price point is another talking point.
Might be a bit hard. It was a good roll though.
Yeah, great roll and just past there. So 3 foot past there, again, would be just outside of tour average, but we're going to hold that out because this is where this putter face and path was the most consistent. So that should be a more easier putt to hole out. But £250 for this putter. Again, if you go for the graphite KBS shaft that we do have in this putter, it does sneak up to £300. But in regards to the putting market, in comparison to others, it is pretty affordable. That was a great putt there, Dave. So again,
That's because I hit the first one a little bit too hard.
it is, but started on line, that's a tap in, but let's see how you get on with this one here, because these are the ones that we end up getting a 3 putt. So let's get this one out of the hole. Dave would take his time and line it up. So interesting there, obviously we know that the L.A.B putters aren't fitted for Dave, but we saw a lot of deviation in that stroke, so certainly working much more left. We also saw head worked a little bit more stable with this, so we got a little bit of an arc on the way back. It wasn't doing a figure of 8, and then from there Dave was consistent on the way through.
I think sometimes the figure of 8 comes from what I do with my wrists.
Yep.
And it's really difficult, although I try my best to move my wrists in a putter swing. This really doesn't let you.
No, again, it gets you set there, and this is something that could really change your game, gets you in that position that you can get in consistently, because we know the putting green is never the most busy place at a golf club. There's not many people practicing, but this can help you. Just like that, nice and
See,
easy.
there's no real effort to it, Chris. It's not as if you've seen me miss putts from that distance before, and a bit of a jerk or a figure of 8 as it goes back.
Yeah.
And there was nothing to it. It was just simple.
It's more of a stroke. Yeah,
back and
more of
through.
a stroke. The classic back and through. Let's go from here, Dave. Let's hit this putt right now. And again, this is where this putter isn't fitted for Dave either. So this is where it's interesting. It's not in his perfect specs. Can we get one of these potentially ordered up for Dave and get it in his perfect specs? We know he wants either a white and yellow shaft there. I don't know
Yellow, white
why.
and blue, Chris.
Yellow, white and blue. There'll be a lot of people being sick behind the screen right now, Dave. But should we get Dave into this Golf Punk arm lock? Numbers say it is the most consistent for him. Out here, it's certainly performing. And would it be a putter for you? Dave, you would have ever thought maybe of the arm lock?
No, and the first time you use it, it feels really strange.
Yeah, so again, we know in here, we've got that KBS Torque GPS 120 shaft. Again, we can see that we've got a nice, fantastic milled face there.
The face looks lovely on it.
Golf Punk AL01. And we have the Jumbo Max grip on here set up as DeChambeau has it. Would that be the setup Dave goes for? Get in those comments below, guys. Do you want to see Dave build his perfect putter and complete his bag?